Welcome to The Funnel. My name is John Shane. I'm president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 277 of The Funnel. How are your reps spending their day? Before we begin, I want to urge you to head on over to alignment-group.com/thefunnel. Subscribe and receive a coupon for our online sales training class. Today's agenda: time is money, the 5-minute workout, and increased productivity. So before we jump into this whole podcast, I need you to understand this is not a babysitting exercise. This is not me saying, hey, they're out doing things they're not supposed to be doing, or they're watching their television if they're working from home, or out golfing or fishing or whatever it is that they do. This isn't really what it's about. This is about productivity. It's about managing your day properly and how you can help them do that. So let's talk about time is money. You've heard that saying, right? And it's been around forever. So I think what I've seen with sales reps over the years, especially the people that achieve at a high level, they're highly disciplined. They kind of know how they're going to spend their time. And they know it before the week, the day. Okay, so they're not just waking up, feet are hitting the ground, and they're deciding what to do. They know what they're going to do, and that gives them better opportunities, better meetings, better income, because they have a hand on it. They know what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. And that's how they achieve. They focus on the things that are important. They push out the things that aren't important. And they manage their day properly. And not everybody's lucky enough to have this sort of built-in ability or have been taught this in the past or whatever. So you might have reps that are struggling and they can't figure out what to do. So I've done a similar exercise to what I'm going to talk about today, the journal with sales reps. Tell me how you spend your day, right? And they give me, I get an email back as I'm, talking to different reps of different clients. I get an email back and it's like, in the morning I return emails. In the afternoon I make calls. That's how they spend their day. Wow, that's insightful. It's not. That's me being facetious. It's not insightful. I want to know down to the minute how you're spending your day. Not because I'm going to chastise you for getting a cup of coffee or eating lunch or picking your kids up at school. I really want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it and what's the outcome you're trying to achieve. And if we can get to that, then I can help you maybe problem solve a little bit. So that's why I tell them to sort of journal it out. Tell me how you're spending your day, and be specific. Okay, so that's going to help them understand how successful they're being in their day. And sometimes when you sit down and you put it in writing, you're actually surprised at how the day has played out. Someone once said to me, I work every day and I work really hard every day, and at the end of the day I feel like I've gotten nothing done. Now, I would say for most of us salespeople, that's the heart of the problem when we have this problem. It is the ultimate ADD statement. I feel like I'm running 100 miles an hour but going nowhere. Staying busy and accomplishing goals are two different things. Staying busy and selling at a high level are two different things. You can be busy. People can find busy work. We all do it, sometimes to avoid the real work. Well, I can't because I have to do this, right? That's what we're trying to get away from. And when you journal it out, it begins to make things clear. So a lot of us will say, okay, well, we track activities, we look at the data, we talk to our reps about, hey, this is how many calls you need to make, this is how many appointments. I'm just kind of doing basic data points here. Go into the CRM, you do this all day, you do that, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at the data here and you're not selling enough. And the reason you're not selling enough is you don't have enough appointments. Okay, that's helpful to a degree. But why don't they have enough appointments? Is it a skill set thing? You're making a lot of assumptions off this, right? If it's a skill set thing, then I'm going to work on skill set. What if it's not a skill set thing? What if it's how they're managing the front end of the day? Maybe it's something as simple as time management. That's where this, combined with that kind of data, really is helpful. And if you get people in the habit of doing it on a regular basis, it is amazing what you can discover. It is amazing how much you can help them. It is amazing how much they will see changes over months, years in some cases. This is what I used to do 2 years ago. Now look at what I do now. Look at what I do today. It's quite different, and I'm having much higher success rate. So they can focus on that, and they can tweak it and get better and better and better, and you can coach to that. So the journal is important. So let's talk about the 5-minute workout. Okay, it's simple. I'm not telling you to do push-ups. I'm not selling an ab machine or that silly thing you stand on and rock back and forth. I'm not. That's not what this is about. This is really about taking the 5 minutes in the day to piece this together. Okay? So you can do it any way you want. Some people buy a journal. Some people use a 3-ring binder. I know somebody's manager way back when that I worked with. He kept 3-ring binders every day of the year. Start the day out with the date and then just everything that happened during the day. Meetings, notes, information. So he can go back. Say, we talked about this like 6 months ago. He can go back and look. That was his way of doing it. Okay, you don't need to be so tight with your team that you have to require it to be done a certain way. But it takes 5 minutes. So maybe it's a journal, maybe it's a 3-ring binder, maybe it's in the CRM. Okay. So I would start with planning out my week. Let me back that up. I would start with them just writing down what they do every day. Then I'd start forming some construct around that because it really does take 5 minutes. So let's look at something that might be a little bit more ideal. Maybe it's something that you need to get done for the week. A training module. I have a friend that does a lot of training because they do industrial chemicals and there's a lot to know. So there's things that are always on his plate to do. So maybe he puts that weekly challenge to hit those goals for the training. Task out your day. Obviously listing the most important task to the least important. These are the people I need to talk to regardless of what happens. How many calls, how many appointments, all of that stuff, all the stuff that needs to be done during the day in blocks of very specific time. And then what kind of results do I get? And at the bottom, they can put notes down. This is what really went. This is what worked and this is what didn't work. This is how it went. So I have goals. I'm looking at my results. I'm outlining my day. And then I'm writing down what worked, what didn't work, and what I have to get better at. Now, if you mix that into, you look way back in some of my podcasts, I talk about meetings. I'm really a big fan of, that stand-up meeting in the morning. We call it a stand-up because in offices, you stand outside the manager's office and you just bang, bang, bang. You go through quickly what you're going to do that day, what you did yesterday, what you're going to do tomorrow, and you move on. And the manager tracks that to the degree that if you say you're going to do something and you don't, they want to know why. So this really goes hand in hand with that, right? So it's 5 minutes out of your life. You lay out, 5 minutes for the day. You lay out your week ahead of time. Let's say you do that on Sunday. And then Monday, so Sunday night, you put down Monday, what it is you need to do, blah, 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 blah. Then they just fill it in as the day goes along. Now, I hear all kinds of stories. I like to wait till the end of the day because it's easier for me. I make all my calls and then I put everything in the CRM. Really? So I'm making this up, right? But you make 50 calls and by the time you finish the 50th, you remember what happened in the first one? Now, I'm not speaking to the value of your CRM. If you have a highly intensive, administrative laden CRM, I get your point. but a lot of automation in today's CRMs. Not a lot for you to do inside there. Has all the contact information, the fact that you made a call. You just have to put some notes in. And who wouldn't want to have notes? So my point to this is everybody's going to tell you, well, this is how I do it. My response to that is great. Are you performing at the highest level you could possibly perform at? Are you at peak performance? If the answer is yes, fine. You do it that way. And if it's true, they're overachieving their targets, they're hitting their numbers, blah, blah, blah. Great. Overachieving. If somebody's been handed a territory that's produced X number and you give them a 3% bump and they're at that 3% bump, that's not overachieving. I mean, if they're really overachieving, that's fine. The truth is no one is Let me back that up. Not everyone's overachieving. There's a lot of sales reps that use some work here. So if you're significantly overachieving and you're great and you're fine, well, good. You can do that at the end. If you're not, then you need to add some discipline to this. So you build this out, right? And it can be templated. That could really work for you. It could be something they print out. It could be something they just write in. They follow the journal. It could be laid out in something that's pre-printed. So you can do this any number of ways, but it's there. They fill it in. They really, at the end of the day, take stock in what happened. What went well today? What didn't? How did I miss my mark on calls? How did I miss the mark on this meeting? Whatever it is. Because there are some days when nothing can go right, like yesterday for me. Okay, and just walking away from that day, feeling down, is not helpful. Okay, so what went wrong? This is what went wrong. And this is how I'm going to fix it. It gets you thinking about things. Now move that forward, and what do you get? At the end of the week, or the week after, or the month, right? You're increasing your productivity. So how are you increasing it? Well, you're reducing your stress. You're putting it in writing. You're laying out exactly what it is you're doing, what you're supposed to do, and how you're going to achieve those targets. It's right there in front of you. And when you miss, you're working through that. Oh, by the way, as a rep, you're taking that into your coaching calls. As a manager, you can look at that and say, well, here's what I'm noticing. You're getting a clear picture because somebody else is looking at it. You're talking specifically about certain things. Maybe the day, maybe the week, maybe the month. This is something that's great to review during your one-on-one. It gives you additional perspective on how things are going. So now lock this down. Think about this. I got a really cool stand-up meeting. It takes 5 minutes each rep every day. Boom, I'm done. I have a pipeline and forecast meeting that's in and out pretty quick because I'm tracking all my data. I have a coaching call. I spend just one-on-one with the rep coaching. And I not only have all the data in front of me in the CRM, calls, appointments, meetings, numbers, all that good stuff. I also have very detailed information on how they're spending their time. Now, as a manager, that kind of information is just so much better for you than stabbing at the dark. Yeah, I'm having a problem closing business. And you have none of that data in front of you. You're playing detective. You're asking questions. You're trying to figure this out. But if I'm having a problem closing business, and you're looking at all the data in the CRM, and you're looking at the data, well, this is why. You see how you're spending your day here? You're doing a great job here, here, and here, but you're not generating enough opportunities. It's not that you have problems closing. You don't have enough opportunities to close. I'm giving you a simple answer, right? Well, anybody can see. I get that. Okay, but the point is you can drill right down to the basics, and you can hit on the things that they need to do to get better without wasting your time thinking about what it could be or being a detective. So if you can build something like this with your team, I think you're going to be highly successful. They're going to be highly successful. And guess what? If somebody's not doing their job and they're doing it poorly, boy, it's going to show up here, especially if they're making stuff up. So that's the bad side if somebody's doing that. The good side is you're going to help people develop. You're also going to be able to recognize people that They can't move beyond where they are, and you need to think about what to do next. And that's decision time. So think about that. You can find me on social media, facebook.com alignment group, facebook.com backslash or / alignment group. I'm losing my mind. Twitter at JJohnR, LinkedIn, of course. Don't forget that if you have a question, problem, issue, whatever, email me, jshay@alignment-group.com. I'll be sure and get back to you. And, of course, you can head on over to the website, alignment-group.com. Again, thank you for subscribing. And until next time, keep filling the funnel.